Hey everyone, I'm Johnny FD and happy December. This is the income, expenses, and travel report for the month. You can follow along on johnnyfd.com in the description. So first off, I spent most of the month in Nuwara Eliya, Sri Lanka. We had left Colombo because of the possible lockdowns, which actually happened, so we predicted correctly. A lot of the restaurants that we liked closed. The cinemas, like the movie theaters, closed. The massage places closed. So all the kind of big reasons why we liked being in Colombo had shut down, and it just wasn't like a safe place to be, like a prudent place to be, because you know the Rona was spreading there because it's a condensed city. But also, we just don't want to get stuck there. And the hotel we're staying at actually ended up shutting down. So I think they reopened back up now, maybe, but they basically closed. So we would have had to have moved anyways, and a lot of places weren't taking new guests. So I'm so happy that we saw the writing on the wall, and we decided to go to Nuwara Eliya. So I'm sure you've seen that video. We took a train from Colombo Fort to Little England, Nuwara Eliya, and it was beautiful. Such a beautiful train ride. And what's really funny is my sister watched that video, and she really thought we were in England. And then she asked, she's like, how far was that train ride? And wait, how do you even take a train from Sri Lanka to England? She really thought that we went to the UK because it looked that different. And she probably also wasn't paying attention because she has like kids and stuff. So she was probably watching the video and not really paying attention. But we spent an entire month basically in Nuwara Eliya, and it was beautiful. I'm sure you've seen the videos. First we were at Little England itself, and then we went to the farmhouse for a week, and then we decided to stay kind of near the town center at Seven Oaks for almost 2 weeks. So it was like more than 10 or 11 days. And what's cool is we were able to collaborate with these places because they knew I was going to make videos and they were going to get a lot of promotion, but we still paid our fair share. Everything was discounted because first, there's no tourism right now, so there's just not very much competition. So everywhere we're staying is more than 50% off, sometimes even 75 to 90% off. But we paid our way, and they were able to pay their staff, their cleaning staff. So it was kind of a win-win for everyone. I'm sure that if I really asked and said, hey, we'll only come and only make the video if you make it completely for free, or if you even pay us. But I figured, we got to stay somewhere anyways. I don't mind paying a little bit of money and helping out. Ugh. So that being said, as much as anyone, I do like getting free stuff. So when Soul Coffee, someone there saw that beautiful scene that Christina shot in the farmhouse, where we had Soul Coffee there, that we bought, and it wasn't a sponsored video. We just really liked that coffee because it's the only good coffee we found in Sri Lanka. They reached out. They messaged me on Instagram at JohnnyFDK if you want to follow, and they said, hey, thanks for the shout out. We would love to send you a couple more packs of Soul Coffee. And I was so excited because by that time we had actually already moved down south. And this is a spoiler alert for those who are just following along on YouTube, is in the very next video, you're going to see that we decided to move down south to the Weligama, Ahagama area because it's the start of surf season. And Nuwara Eliya, as much as we liked it, we were kind of afraid of getting stuck there too, because for a few weeks there were talks about closing inner city or inner district travel or another lockdown. And we're thinking, if we're going to get stuck for the next few months, would we rather be in Nuwara Eliya where it's cold and really nice for a few weeks, or do we want to be kind of near the beach where it's warm and we can either have access to a pool or an ocean? So we decided to move down here. Turns out actually nothing got shut down. Everything's still open to travel here in Sri Lanka, except for outside tourism. Sorry for everyone who's waiting for that to open, but I did just read in the news that their plan is to open on January 1st. Granted, things change often in this world, but their plan is on January 1st they're going to start letting tourists in. And instead of doing a quarantine, you still have to do a quarantine for 14 days, but instead of doing it in a hotel room where it's boring and kind of sucks, and some people only have 2 or 3 weeks of holiday anyway, so they don't want to just be in a hotel room and then go home. What they're going to do instead is they're going to partner with resorts that have like private beaches or a way where they can kind of like section off the beach, and hotels with pools and things like that. So you can come for your 2-week vacation, and you're not allowed to leave the resort, but you are allowed to go to the beach, you're allowed to go to the pool, you're allowed to eat at the, at the restaurants at the actual hotel itself. So it's kind of like being at an all-inclusive almost, where, I'm sure some of you guys have done this in Mexico or Turkey. But they're not all-inclusive here. Actually, no, maybe they will be. I'm sure they'll have some full board versions where it'll be all-inclusive. But basically, you just hang out at the hotel itself for those 14 days to do the quarantine process. They'll probably come in and test you once or twice. But you get to just enjoy the beach. You get to enjoy the pool and the hot weather and the warm weather, because it's getting cold in a lot of places. So coffee had said, "Oh, you're down south. We'll send you a box of coffee." And I said, "Thank God," because there's nowhere to buy it nearby. They sell it at Keels, but the closest one is in Gaul, which is like 45 minutes away from here. And we just go to the Cargill's Food City, because it's the biggest supermarket nearby, and all they have is this terrible special blend island coffee. It is so bad, guys. It is the most terrible coffee besides Folgers or Nescafe. Besides the instant stuff, this is still like a filter coffee. I'm still using a French press, but it's really not good coffee. But I need it. I need coffee to wake up. I even grabbed the wrong cup, guys. I grabbed the Sistra cup. But unfortunately, because of miscommunication or the Sri Lanka post office, it's been a week and it still hasn't arrived yet. So I don't know what it is. I'm forced to drink this coffee. So that's one thing that makes it really hard to live in Sri Lanka, is getting stuff. Buying stuff, getting stuff delivered. It kind of works, and then sometimes it kind of just doesn't work. So the other thing I wanted to buy was a iPhone 12. As you saw in Christina's birthday video, one of my original plans was to buy myself an iPhone 12 because I'm using my phone to record all the videos. So I'm not getting it just to have the latest, coolest phone, which I think is ridiculous when people spend that much money just to have a cool, latest phone for no reason. But I'm actually using it to create content. If I can make more beautiful videos for you guys, more people will watch it. It ends up making more money, so it pays for the phone itself, kind of, sometimes. And it's just a nicer image. Like I want to create the best shots possible. The new iPhone 12 Pro Max has way better low light video. It's even more stable. So it would just allow me to make better videos for you guys. So I've been waiting for months now, for 2 months, to be able to buy it. And finally, you can kind of buy the normal iPhone 12 here now, but it's so much more expensive. The base model iPhone 12 is $250 more than it would be after tax in the US. So actually, even more than that. So if we do the math, let's take a look. In the US, the base iPhone 12 is $799 at the carrier, or $829 if you just buy it unlocked, plus about $70 worth of tax, right? 8.25% tax, right? 8.5% tax. That would bring it to another $69 or $70, less than $900. Here in Sri Lanka, that same phone, the cheapest you can find it for is $1,126. So that's about $225 or $250 more. Now, if I want the iPhone 12 Pro Max, because I can't get the base one because it only has 64 gigabytes of storage, it's not enough to make videos. If I want the 128 version, I have to pay more. And if I get the iPhone 12 Pro Max in the US, it's $1,099, $1,099. So $1,100 plus $90 in tax. Let's say it's a little bit less than $1,200. Okay, it's still a lot of money, but $1,200. Here in Sri Lanka, the cheapest I can find it for, even at Dialog, which is like their official cell phone provider. It's like walking into like a Verizon store, like an AT&T store. $1,583, guys. That's insane. That is $383 more, $400 more for the exact same phone. Now, it turns out it's not just Sri Lanka. There's some other countries like Russia that overcharge, but there's plenty of countries that don't. You know, you can go to Dubai, like the UAE, it's the same price. Singapore is a little bit more, it might be like $50 more, but it's about the same price. Taiwan is the same price. Malaysia is about the same price. Canada is about the same price. And even in like the EU, it's like not that much more. It's just Sri Lanka is so much more expensive. Why do you guys charge so much money for these taxes? I understand it's a luxury good and most people don't need it, which is why, you know, I guess you think it's fair to just charge people more money. But what it's doing is it's holding people back. It's holding creatives back. It's holding people back from, you know, having the latest technology to create things. You know, you want better videos, you want more tourism. Guess what? If people have these, you know, terrible cameras on their phone, they can't make good videos. They can't show the world how beautiful Sri Lanka is. You know, if people they don't have unlimited Wi-Fi because Dialog is a greedy, you know, telecom company that does these fake promo offers where they make it seem like you get a ton of data, but at the end of the, you know, everyone's out of data at the end of the month and just can't go online, can't do anything, or they're limited. They're like, oh, I have to make sure I don't upload videos because it costs so much money to upload, or I can't watch this online course because it's going to use too much data. You know, instead people are just going to use their phones for their unlimited YouTube plan, which is nice that they have that on their phone, but come on, why don't you have unlimited Wi-Fi at home or in businesses? A lot of businesses can't even keep up because they have to spend so much money on Wi-Fi. Guys, get your act together. That's like the number one thing from holding Sri Lanka back, is not having true unlimited Wi-Fi, especially at home and in businesses. Sorry it took so long to get through it. I had so much to rant about, but basically this month I ended up spending way less money than last month. I'm so happy because there's no way I could have sustained spending, what was it, $7,748 per month like I did last month in November or October, I guess. It was just too much. So if you didn't read that income report on johnnyfd.com, my blog, or if you didn't watch the video, I spent a lot of money because we were living in Colombo. We were staying at that beautiful 4-star hotel, the Merino Beach Hotel, which I really, really liked. We were eating at really nice restaurants. We were just going out all the time, doing things, getting massages, just, you know, enjoying life. And some people were even complaining, saying like, how dare you guys live such a, you know, luxury life and spend all this money when other people are suffering? You know, you should just. I'm like, what, like, you know, and they didn't even say you should give all the money away because you can ask for that. I don't believe in just giving money to people directly. I don't think that helps anything. If anything, I would happily donate food to a cause, and which was I was doing during lockdown anyways. So if you know of a cause that's actually feeding people, please link it below because that's something I would look into donating to. But it's also sad because I heard a lot of that money, that like millions or maybe even billions of dollars that went to, you know, government aid during this crisis, it didn't even go to feeding people. Like that 5,000 rupees that are supposed to go to all the day laborers, I've heard, and you know, and this is maybe untrue, so check it yourself, but I heard it's been really hard for them to even collect. Like it wasn't just like an easy process where they just received it and they were able to get food. And it was only like, so, and like, I don't think it's a good idea just to give people money. I think it's better just to give people food, like, and nobody should be starving. So if you know anyone who just does not have food to eat, like, give them food, or I'll give them food. I'm not gonna, but sending people money or giving people money is never a good idea because you never know who's gonna take it, what they're gonna use that money for. They might be using that money to go buy alcohol or drugs, you know, or who knows, right? A really good story I heard, I think it happened in India, was there was one wealthy businessman who wanted to give people money, but didn't want to give it to the wrong people. So what he did was he hid money in a 1 pound bag of like flour or something. And he had people line up for hours, I guess, to get this free flour. And the only people who would actually line up to get it were people who were really hungry, because otherwise it wasn't worth their time to line up for, you know, a few dollars worth of flour that's only able to kind of, you know, feed their family for a few days or something. But inside that flour, there was another bag that had $1,000 or something like that hidden. So that was a very smart move. So something like that I would happily do. But aside the point, one of the ways that I and all of us can help support the economy is by spending money. I could take advantage of this situation and just spend as little as possible and put as much into my savings as possible, which is good for me in the long run. But I figure right now everybody is looking for cheap accommodation. So if I take it, someone else can't rent that place. And then the places that are nicer and more expensive, like the ones I'm staying at, they would have sat empty and the staff would have nothing to do and they would probably get fired and have no income. So by me spending money and staying in these nice places, I'm basically paying the salary of, here there's 2 gardeners, 1 full-time house cleaner, and 1 kind of manager for that. That's 4 people's salary that I'm paying, and I'm basically paying for their entire, you know, and 2 security guards. So there's 6 people. There's 6 people's salary that I'm directly paying by staying here. And if I wasn't staying here, because the place I'm at now is pretty expensive, it's more than $100,000 per month, which in dollars is a great deal, because there's this place would be a lot more expensive, sometimes even per night. But I think the fact is most people don't have the savings or income to be able to stay at a place like this. So they would just sit empty, and the staff would not have any money or have a job. So one thing that I'm doing is trying to spend as much as I can without, without wasting money, and saying, you know what, yeah, let me enjoy kind of the nicer places that nobody's renting right now, because they are on such good values, and I'm supporting the local economy by supporting the staff. So that's why I don't mind spending more money, because it's a win-win. I get to stay at places that normally there's no way I would be able to pay for, and everybody's happy. So this month, if I just calculate the expenses from Nuwara Eliya, those places I was paying anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000 per night, which is like $30 to $45 a night or something like that. And for Sri Lanka during the high season, normally when there's tourism, those places are much more expensive. They're 2 or 3 times more expensive. But right now, because everything's kind of shut down, it's actually just a very good deal, but it's actually still not cheap. It's still more expensive, especially because I'm staying for more than a week at a time, than staying in a place in the south where for $50,000 per month, which is like $275 a month or $10 a night, I could be staying in a really nice place, very similar to the ones I stayed at. One thing I spent a lot of money on this month was groceries, because we were cooking at home a lot, and some of you guys had mentioned that we eat enough to support, for like a whole family, and we do. We like to eat a lot of food. Unfortunately, both Christina and I have gained a lot of weight kind of through this couple of months, but we've enjoyed life, so we're starting to exercise again more. So thank you guys for your wishes, but we're happy. We're relatively healthy still because we're exercising. I'm swimming a lot now. Hopefully I'll be surfing again soon. But other thing I'm spending money on is I started drinking again, which is not healthy. So Christina likes wine. So a couple nights a week, we have a couple glasses of wine. And wine is not cheap in Sri Lanka. It's not as expensive as it is in Thailand or in Bali, for example. But it's still at least 2,000 rupees a bottle, which is like $11 or $12 for like the cheapest bottle of wine, which I guess is not expensive. But in the U.S., I'm used to drinking like Charles Shaw, which is like, $3 a bottle. Or in Europe, you can get a decent bottle of wine for like 4 or 5 euros. So it is more like double than we would normally be paying. I've had to spend so much money topping up my Wi-Fi. Like, Dialogue, I hate you guys so much. I had 160 gigs prepaid, and that ran out so fast. Like, it ran out within 2 weeks. So then I had to spend another 7 or 8 thousand rupees, another $45 or something, just to top it up. And then that ran out before the end of the month. So the last 2 days of the month, I had no internet, which sucks. So I checked how much I actually used. So on my Fire Stick, I can see exactly how much I used for Netflix, for YouTube, things like that. And even for that, on my big like HD streaming device, which I use the most of, I used 60 gigs. And I paid for now like more than 200. So I'm like, where did that other 140 gigs go? Because I purposely didn't upload videos from home because I was like, I either have to do it from my phone or when I'm at a cafe or something, because data is so expensive or so limited. So I'm pretty sure Dialogue is not giving me the correct amount. And here's what really pisses me off. I asked them, can you show me, or can I see how much data I used for each, device or each service? Like, how much did I spend on Netflix, or how much did I use on Facebook or something like that? And they're like, no, we won't show you. We can't show you. So I'm pretty sure that these guys are scamming people who are using a lot of Wi-Fi, because I've had other friends too, my Sri Lankan friends, say the same thing, and that they're not very transparent. Unfortunately, there's no options. I mean, there's only a few telecom companies here, and Dialogue has the best reception out of all the terrible ones, so they're like the best of the worst. So we're on their mercy. There's nothing we can do. And I've said this so many times, but not having unlimited Wi-Fi is holding back Sri Lanka's growth in tourism, technology, and in the future. So somebody do something about this. All right, so in total this month, I spent $3,224. That includes the traveling, that expensive taxi ride from Nuwara Eliya down south. We would have happily taken the train, but the train wasn't running that time because everything was shut down. And we were afraid that if we waited for the train to reopen up again, maybe we would get locked and stuck in Nuwara Eliya. So we just had to spend that $85 to take basically a private taxi down, which sucks because the train is like $5 and it's much more beautiful and like a much nicer ride. But that was a big expense. The accommodation, the food, the alcohol was all expensive, and another big expense that of my month, which isn't directly a living expense or a Sri Lankan expense, but a lot of Sri Lankans will understand this because, like a good, Asian kids, we like to support our parents, the people who raised us and took care of us, especially when we're in a position where we can and they are too old to be working. So my dad has had some problems with his leg for the last few years, so he couldn't work. And my mom she was working 2 jobs as like a waitress and making so little money, and she was having foot problems from standing all day for like 8-9 hours a day. So I have a blog post about it if you want to kind of look more into the backstory. But a few years ago, I decided I'm going to retire my parents, and I said, how much money do you need to survive? And aside from big expenses like property tax, which I pay for them on top of it, for their monthly kind of living expenses, because their house is now paid for, and they have a little tiny bit of pension money, they needed about $1,000 a month. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So every month for the last 4 or 5 years now, I've been sending my mom $1,000. And I think you guys call this remittance. Americans never use this term. We just call it like sending money back home. But I guess remittance is a big deal. Normally, remittance is like a guy from Sri Lanka would go to Dubai or go to the Middle East to work and send money back to Sri Lanka. Ironically, I'm in Sri Lanka making money from the US for my businesses, and even my YouTube channel. I think a lot of people don't realize this, but my Sri Lankan viewers, as much as I love you guys, you don't actually earn me very much money because there's very low paying ads in Sri Lanka. In the US or in Europe or Canada or Australia, if you guys are watching these videos, whether you're Sri Lankan living abroad or if you are just American looking to travel here, you guys are the bread and butter basically, because advertisers are actually willing to spend money to reach you guys. My Sri Lankan viewers, Maggie Ramen or whoever is advertising, they don't pay very much. But I am very lucky that my YouTube channel keeps growing. Thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing with your friends and watching the full way through these videos, because that helps a lot. So this month we've grown again. This is the best month I've had in revenue for YouTube. I made $2,521 this month. Woo! It keeps growing. I think last month was $2,300, so it's grown by $200, almost 10%. I would like for that to grow faster, obviously, but it's good that's making kind of like a steady growth. But actually, another way that I can potentially even double that income, it hasn't started yet because I just had my first sponsored videos the last 2 days. But Rosetta Stone and then Skillshare, if you've noticed in the last videos, have decided to sponsor some videos. Unfortunately, Rosetta Stone has only done one so far, and hopefully they renew, but I don't know if they will. I think it depends on how many people actually sign up through my link with them. Skillshare has decided to do a 6-video package, but it's spread out over the next 3 months. So it's like every other week they're going to sponsor one video. And if I can get more sponsors, I will be able to make basically double dipped money, where I will still have YouTube ad revenue, but also the sponsor money. All of it's a little bit complicated, but it could potentially double my YouTube revenue in the future if I can figure this out correctly. I'm very lucky. I have some great mentors that have over 1 million subscribers on their channel. They have access to lots of information. A lot of them make $20,000 or more from their channels. Some of them want to stay anonymous, so I won't say who they are specifically, but I do share a lot of what I've learned and kind of figured out for myself, but also things that they've taught me inside my course, Income Boss. So I've made 2 new videos about YouTube in there. One is about how to grow your subscribers, because it took me so long. It took me like 9 years to figure this out. And now that I know what I know, I look back and I realize, oh my God, I could have done this so much earlier. I had so many opportunities where I had a video spike and I could have just rode that momentum, because now I'm 100% confident that I could have done this, or I could repeat this, not just in Sri Lanka, but in so many other countries about so many other topics. And actually, as a big secret, the Sri Lankan travel videos are one of the lowest paying segments that you can be on YouTube. Because first, very few advertisers are spending money on travel, and very few advertisers are spending money on Sri Lankan travel because it's not popular. So if I had done this in Bali or in more expensive countries like in Europe or in the US, I would be making way more money. And then second, if I wasn't in the travel niche, if I was in online business, e-commerce, finance, I would be making so much more too, because those categories, the advertisers spend so much more money. So I show all this inside the course, because the second video is all about the money breakdown. I log into everything and I show you my dashboards. And I know I'm pretty transparent showing you guys here and also on my blog, but there I really dive in deep. And as for the sponsorships, unfortunately, I can't publicly talk about how much they pay me or what the terms are, because that's confidential and I had to sign some kind of disclosure agreements. But inside my private course, I kind of show you guys anyways. So take a look at my course. Go to incomeboss.com. You can use the coupon code YouTube2020, which is good for the next couple of weeks, depending on when you're watching this. And that gives you 50% off the course. It gives you half off the course. So sign up, and if you want to learn how to grow your YouTube channel and how to make money from it as a full-time YouTuber. My other business that still makes a lot of money is dropshipping. Unfortunately, I only have a small percentage of it now because I have partners and they're running the day-to-day. Fortunately for that, I don't have to do any of the work anymore. They're basically handling all the customer service, they're fulfilling all the orders. But I'm still a partial owner of the store, and this store for the second month in a row has done over $100,000 in sales. This month did $111,750. It's insane. Like, take a look at it, because it's still hard for me to even believe, because my best months when I was running my own store by myself was doing $30,000 or $40,000, and I was so happy because even then that was making like $3,000 to $4,000 in profit. So these stores have the potential of making over $10,000 a month in profit. But again, I'm just a limited partner for it, so I'm not getting much of that money anymore. But it's nice to know that dropshipping is still working so well in 2020. If you want to take the course that we all took, every single one of my partners we follow till this day, it's antonmethod.com, or you can use the link below. And Anton actually has a free webinar you can watch. All you have to do is enter your email, and he sends you a link to a free webinar. You can kind of learn the basics of his way of high-ticket dropshipping. And just give you a hint, it's not selling cheap stuff from China or AliExpress. He teaches you how to sell domestically in your market, whether it's in the US or Australia or Europe, and only high-ticket items. So if you take a look at my average order values, these are over $1,000. So he teaches, instead of selling things for 30 or 50 bucks and dealing with a lot of customers and a lot of headaches, to instead sell more expensive products, and it can be as low as $300 or as high as $3,000. But we were right in the middle at $1,000 per product on average, and we've done really good. So check that out. So aside from my YouTube income, my dropshipping store income, I also have all my other kind of passive income streams from investing and from my book sales, my courses, things like that. So in total this month, I've made $5,747, which is really nice, because last month I actually spent more than I earned, which is never good. If anyone could teach you basic finance, never spend more than you're earning. So this month is kind of making up for that. We'll see how far this goes, but basically I took all that extra money and I put it into something called Worthy Bonds, which pays 5%, and it helps small businesses. So this company, Worthy Bonds, I talked about them on the Invest Like a Boss podcast. You can take a listen to that episode with the CEO, Sally Outlaw. But they are a company where they basically lend out money to small businesses who need it for inventory or to grow. And what I really like about it is this is my way of helping small businesses in the US get through these hard times where nobody's lending money. In return, we get a collateralized loan where if they don't pay it back, we get the business and we get the inventory, so we can sell it and hopefully get that money back that we loaned out. But second, we get 5% interest, which in the US right now, the high saving rate, savings accounts are only paying 0.5% interest. So this is literally 20 times better. So if you want to sign up, I think it's only for Americans, unfortunately, but if you want to sign up, I think with as low as $10, you can get a free $10 bond. So you can basically just double your money. Check it out. I'll have my link to it below. So you get a free bond, I get a free bond, and we both get 10 bucks. It's pretty good. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this month's income and expenses report. Every month I'm going to make this one short, but every month there's so much to talk about. So I hope you like this, because I'm tempted every month not to make these, because even though they seem very easy to make, because I'm just sitting here, first it's me talking for 20 minutes, which is really tiring, but second, the editing is hard because I have to try to add in a lot of clips to make it not so boring for people to actually keep watching. And as you can just take a look, these get a lot less views and comments than my travel videos do. So I'm always tempted just to make more travel videos because they're easier to make, they're more fun to make, they're easier to edit, they involve less talking, and they make more money and get more views. But I know how valuable these are, Because when I was starting out, I would love to have had a mentor or someone transparent, telling me how much they actually spent, how much places really cost, but also how much money they earn and how they earn money. Because I think it's a lot of people's dreams to be able to travel and to be able to work online or work remotely, or have enough money from online investments to be able to live a life like this. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a comment below. Please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with a friend. And let me know that you like these videos so I can continue making them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. By the way, this is that terrible coffee that you should never buy unless you kind of have to. This is my setup here. You're going to see in the next video us arriving here in the south. And it's kind of cool. There's even a guy fishing right there while I was recording this. How cool is that?